A word that somehow sounds like music and a personality trait. You hear it and immediately expect finger snaps, cool sunglasses, and someone nodding like they understand what's happening, even if they don't. But here's the mystery. Where did that word even come from? Who looked at this wild, rule-breaking style of music and thought, yes, that sounds like jazz? Was it planned? Was it accidental? Or did someone just say it out loud and everyone collectively agreed it felt right? I'm Professor Everything, and today we'll be answering the question, why is it called jazz? Right here on Explaining Everything. The word jazz didn't start as a music term. In fact, it showed up before jazz music even had a name. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, jazz was slang. And like most slang, it meant something very vague, but very energetic. Think words like pep, spice, or oomph. If something had jazz, it had life, it had kick, it had something going on. People used it to describe enthusiasm, energy, excitement, basically anything that wasn't boring. A lively person had jazz. A bold idea had jazz. Even a good story could have jazz. It wasn't refined, it wasn't polite, and it definitely wasn't classical, which already tells you a lot. When a new, loud, unpredictable style of music started bubbling up in the early 1900s, especially in places like New Orleans, it needed a name that matched its attitude. This music didn't follow strict rules. It bent notes. It improvised. It talked back. So a stiff, formal name wasn't going to cut it. Jazz fit perfectly. Short, punchy, slightly rebellious, and just a little bit confusing. New Orleans is where everything clicks. This city was loud, crowded, emotional, and constantly moving. You had marching bands, blues, ragtime, church music, and musicians who played wherever people would listen. Parades, bars, funerals, street corners. Music wasn't something you attended. It was something that followed you. As this new sound took shape, people didn't know what to call it. Some called it ragtime. Some called it blues. Some just called it that crazy music. But journalists and performers needed a label, something catchy, something people would remember. That's when jazz stuck. Early newspaper articles started using the word to describe this bold, energetic music that didn't behave like anything else. It wasn't polished. It wasn't predictable. And that was the point. Interestingly, many musicians didn't love the word at first. Some thought it sounded cheap or unserious. Imagine inventing an entire genre, and then someone names it after a slang term that basically means extra. But the public loved it. The word spread as fast as the music did. As jazz musicians traveled north to cities like Chicago and New York, they brought both the sound and the name with them. Soon, jazz wasn't just slang anymore. It was an identity, a messy, brilliant, rule-breaking identity. Here's the thing, jazz music is hard to define. That's kind of its whole deal. It changes depending on who's playing it. Two musicians can perform the same song and make it sound completely different. Improvisation is baked into its DNA. It's emotional, spontaneous, and sometimes deliberately chaotic. So naming it something precise would have been impossible. Jazz works because it doesn't explain itself. It feels like motion, like a spark, like something happening right now. Say the word out loud. Jazz. It snaps, it pops, it doesn't linger. That mirrors the music perfectly. Jazz doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't explain itself first. It just starts playing and dares you to keep up. The name captures that energy better than any technical description ever could. And that's why, despite all the confusion around its origin, the word survived. It wasn't just a label, it was a vibe. What really makes jazz special isn't just where the word came from. It's that no one ever managed to control it. People tried. Critics tried to define it. Historians tried to lock it down. Purists tried to gatekeep it. But jazz did what the music always does. Ignored the rules and kept evolving. The sound changed, but the name didn't. Swing, bebop, cool jazz, hard bop, different styles, same word. Imagine renaming rock every time it evolved. Sorry, that's not rock anymore. That's electric loud feelings music. Jazz just said, same name, cope. And that's why it worked. Jazz never boxed the music in. It stayed loose, flexible, and rebellious. Never formal, never academic. It felt discovered, not assigned. So jazz didn't just get its name. The name survived because it acted exactly like the music. Unpredictable, impossible to define, and instantly recognizable. And yeah, that's the most jazz thing about jazz. So why is it called jazz? Because the music needed a word that was as alive as it was. A word that felt improvised. A word that didn't come with instructions. Jazz wasn't carefully chosen. It was discovered accidentally by people trying to describe something they couldn't fully explain. And honestly, that's kind of perfect. Jazz music grew from emotion, movement, and community. The name grew the same way, through use, energy, and a little bit of chaos. No official definition, no clean origin story. Just a sound, a feeling, and a word that somehow managed to keep up. So next time you hear jazz, remember, you're listening to a genre named after pure momentum. And that's pretty jazzy. If you enjoy this video, or if it added a little jazz to your day, please like and subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.